Equivalent fractions. When two fractions have different numerators and denominators but have equal the same part of the whole, that is called equivalent fractions. Equivalent is when two things are the same and fractions are equal parts of a whole. So as you can see, I have some shapes here today. Notice that all my shapes are the same size. They're the same whole because we want to compare them. And so when you're comparing equivalent fractions, you want to make sure that you're not comparing a square this size with a rectangle this size or a square with a circle. Okay, you can look and see it. So I want to show you some things. So I'm going to divide this square into two equal parts by drawing one line down the middle. And what I'm going to do is shade in 1/2 of this shape. Okay, so right now I've shaded in, and I know all of you can answer my question when I ask you what fraction of this shape is shaded. Well, we know that there are two total parts, and one is shaded out of the two total parts. So I know that my fraction is 1/2. So I'm going to write that down there. And now what I'm going to do with this other square is I'm going to also divide that into two parts by drawing one line down the middle. Now as you can see, it looks exactly like this, but the difference is I'm going to draw another line going across, breaking this shape up into 4 equal pieces, okay? But I'm still going to shade the same size of piece that is shaded over here. So as you can see, I did shade in the same size of piece, but I had to shade in two pieces. That's because these two pieces equal the same amount that is shaded in over here. Okay, so we're talking about the size of piece and not necessarily how many. We know that there are two over here and only one here. So the fraction over here is a little bit different. This fraction is 2/4, but when we look at the picture, the same size pieces are shaded in both of them, even though there's more pieces in this one. So that's what equivalent fractions are. It's having that same size piece taken out of there that you're talking about. This is how many parts out of the whole we're talking about. And we have the same whole, but the same size shaded. Those are equivalent fractions. I'm going to show you the same thing with the rectangle and a different fraction. So as you can see, I broke my rectangle up. The one rectangle is broken into 3 pieces, and so is this one. But the difference is I'm going to break this one up into even smaller pieces, more pieces. I'm going to kind of make my line a little bit straighter than it was. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and shade in 1/3 out of all of that. So in the one rectangle, I've shaded one piece in and out of all 3 pieces. So we know that this fraction is 1/3, and I'll write that in a moment. And now I'm going to shade in the same size of piece as I have shaded in on that other rectangle. So even though I shaded in 2 pieces, what I notice is that the same size piece is shaded. There are more pieces in this one, and the pieces are smaller, but when I put 2 together, I can equal the one whole. So that's what equivalent fractions are all about. So I still know that I have the same size piece if I use 2 over here and 1 here. It's the same area, space inside of that rectangle that's colored. So when we look at that equation, it says that 1/3 is equal to 2/6, and we know that it's true because we can see the picture. Both of them are the same size, even though there's 2 pieces here. Now I'm going to show you something slightly different on the circle. Okay, as of right now, both circles are broken up into fourths. And now I'm going to shade in 3/4 on one circle. So now I have shaded in 3/4 of this one circle, and now I'm going to break this other circle up into smaller pieces. Before I break this circle into smaller pieces, I just want to show you that both of these are 3/4. Do you agree with that? Hope you said yes. They both have 3 parts colored out of 4 total parts. Now, all I'm going to do for the other part is just change the size of the pieces and put more pieces in the one, but I'm not changing what is colored. So if I added some lines in here, and I'm going to change that color of that pen. If I add some lines in here, it's going to give me more pieces in this circle, but I did not change what was colored at all. I still have the same amount colored. And so we know that this piece would be 3 pieces colored out of 4, which is equivalent to this, which is now 6 pieces out of 8. And this is just like if you had a pizza and you cut one into more pieces, you would have more pieces, but the size of the pieces would be smaller. So they both have the same area or part of the circle covered, even though the empty space is in a different place for both of them. That part doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where the empty place is, as long as they both have the same amount of the circle colored in. So this is what equivalent fractions are. And again, you have to have the same whole when you're comparing them.